Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Muhammad Khair, and I wanted to go over in this video presentation some overview of the Quran MetaData Khair database for Quran statistics and metadata about the Quran. To begin with, our site on Facebook is facebook.com Quran metadata, as you can see. And when you go there, there is an announcement where you can download all the files that were saved or are available on Google Drive for the Quran metadata. Among those files are an Excel sheet, Quran metadata here version 4, or that's the fourth release of the tables. Also, we have associated with that a database description document where we describe the methodology used for counting the letters and counting the words, which is I believe is a unique methodology and a more accurate methodology than some of the statistics that are out there. Also, among these files is a database structure which describes the fields and columns of the tables. These tables are available in two forms, an Excel spreadsheet, as we mentioned, as well as Microsoft Access database for programmers who would like to create some SQL query programs to do search or mathematical query, and or even Microsoft Access applications that you can build on top of these big tables for easing the use of the information and the presentation of the information. This is the general location for the Google Drive, where you can find most of these, all of these files, and that's listed here. This is an example of it. Here's the Excel spreadsheet. This is the Access database that is in its uncompressed form, as well as a zip file for faster download of the Access database. The Excel sheet is about 100 megabytes. The database is about 200 megabytes, and the zipped or compressed Access database is about 30 megabytes. And the rest are just basic documents describing the database, its structure, and release notes. Most of these have English language notes in it. Among these files is a subfolder called First Script Quran, which contains images from the Quran of the Naskh al-Awwal, or the first script, written at the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in it are example pictures of or photos of occurrences of certain words that we have discussed in the description document on how why and the rationale behind separating, for example, a word with two roots. For example, awalaysa. Here's awa and here's laysa, and they are in the first script. They are actually two separate words, so we just account for them as two words. And similarly, some of the other words, like awa ajibtum, it's the same thing. Awa is one word and ajibtum is another word. So we have tried to match as closely as possible the first script, as information is available to us as soon as we can find it in the online text of the first script. So please read the description document to understand the methodology for the accounting of number of letters and number of words. Um, Back to the site, there is a companion site or for the database. Um, it's for the group Al-Raqim, and Al-Raqim for Quran Miracles Group are a group of researchers. Some of them are professors, and some of them are uh, um, uh, they're they're specializing pretty much full time in Quran numeric research. And we thought that this type of database can offer a very resourceful data that they can leverage in their research and to perform faster calculations and more richer kind of analysis. The Quran database is a Raqim site is an open site for all publications of results of analysis, and people share and get feedback on their research results posted on here. But it is open for everyone to see and all members to participate. Okay, and there is also this companion website, YouTube, which describes some of the videos used for training, such as this one. Going back to the tables, first I want to describe in the how to use Excel to best use Excel, just kind of at a basic level, to search for results and to sort and filter for results and sort for results, and to limit the scope of information that we see, so that we can more specify or drill down and specify into a particular subset of results of interest that we want to view. So I'll discuss that as a few basic points around Excel and its use, and then I will describe each of the columns contents from a data content, informational content on this in these tables, and that should help people get a jump start into the use of these tables in a quick manner. The tables are composed of 77,444 rows. So if I scroll down here all the way to the bottom of the table, you will find that there's 77,444 rows. Each word in the Quran gets one row, and so we have a word by word analysis across this table. And there are 221 rows in the fourth release of the Quran MetaData database, and that those 221 columns compose a wide variety of statistical information and calculations and that are useful for Quran Ijaz or Quran Miracles type research and discovery. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided numerous thousands of miracles in if not tens of thousands of miracles, numeric ones in the Quran, and it is up to the people with insight and who put in the effort to find these relationships and well-defined relationships and well-defined numeric balances within the Quran. The first column, well, before we start talking, let me just talk briefly about the first column. First column is the ID, and that's just a sequential ID number from 1 to 77,444. And you can use that mostly for sorting on the table, so you get back to always to the proper sort. So you go to the data menu on top and sort, and you can select sort by ID, smallest to largest, and you're always gonna go back to the a natural order of occurrence for the words in the Quran. If we decide to reverse the sort, for example, go from largest to smallest, then we can just reverse that order, or and that you can do that for the whole table or a subset of tables, subset of the table as you see fit. As we see here, we have the reverse order, and 77,444 is on the top line, which should be the last word in the Quran, which is An-Nas, or the people. And if you scroll to the right, you will be able to find the text of the ayah and the text of the word for that ayah, which is An-Nas, Wan-Nas. And okay, so let's go back to the normal sort, and we'll go smallest to largest, and we're back to the natural order of word occurrence. And the first ayah is Bismillah ar-Rahman Rahim, so the first word is Bismi. Going to the left here, the Quran is composed of 114 surahs, and this column, second column, is a flag. If you remove the 0 and just keep the 1 selected and hit OK, you will filter this table down to the 114 lines only, which are the first ayah of each of the surahs. And of course, that would be, or the first word of every surah. This is the surah name, surah number, and then the first ayah of that surah, and here is the first word of that first ayah for each of the surahs. And I can clear the filter by either in two ways. Either you click on the arrow and select clear filter, or you can reselect the 0, or you can deselect all and reselect all. You can do that. That's the third way. There's a fourth way also, and that is by just unpressing the filter on top here under the data menu. Unpress it, and you clear the filter. And if you just want to recreate the arrows so you can select a new filter, just press it one more time and you will have the arrows on the heading of each column. In a much similar manner, this column, the third column, ayah 6236, is a flag that allows you to select the ayahs, first occurrence of the ayahs without repetition. So in other words, if I scroll to the right here, we can see the listing of the ayahs, and they are listed here without repetition. There are 7 ayahs in the Fatiha, and then we start with the Baqarah, and one more to the right, and you will see that we just select the first word of every ayah. So there are 6,236 ayahs in the Quran, and the number at the bottom left indicates the number of rows or number of ayahs that were selected. I'm going to clear the filters by unpressing and then repressing the filter here again. Okay, next column, D, is the time order of the ayah. So before I go into the content, what I wanted to show you is really these operations: the ability to sort on any column, to filter on any column, and the filtering. And then there is one more feature which I'll show you, which is hiding and unhiding columns. Before I do hiding and unhiding, I want to just do one more comment on the filter. Let's go to the Arabic text of the ayah. And suppose that I want to choose, or actually I want to first of all go to the words. And I suppose I want to choose a filter in Arabic text. So I'm going to say, give me all the words that contain the word malaika, for example. And malaika in the Arabic text is in the Quran is written like this: malaika. And then I get all the ayahs that has the word malaika in all its derived forms or derivations. If I made the search a bit more specific and I looked for not contain, but if I looked for equal, let's go to the top, say equal specifically, and I want to particularly just malaika. Let's see if there's an occurrence. There's much fewer occurrences of the word malaika specifically. And you can find then which surah they occur in, which surah number, what ayah position in that surah. So you can, those are the occurrences of that word. If I want to go and remove the filter, again, I just remove the filter and get back to the original table. So similarly, I can go to the ayahs, not just the word, but also the ayahs, and I can go and, for example, search for a word, a particular word. For example, I will search for the word Allah in this case. So we'll type Allah, and then we hit OK. And I think I need to not say equal. I didn't get any results. I have to say contains instead of equal. So instead of equal, I need to say contain, because there is no one full ayah that says Allah. But there are many ayahs that contain the word Allah. And here is all the ayahs that have the word Allah in it. And this way I can actually limit or specify the scope of my results, and that allows me to quickly search for information. The other thing I wanted to show is that if I select at this table, this results column, sorry, at the bottom right, it gives you the count of cells that are selected. If I select a subset, it's, as you see, the count of cells are shown on the bottom right here. Okay, and if I do that on a numeric cell such as this one, then I get not only the count, but I also get the sum, total sum, and the average. And that's also very useful for quick calculations. If I want to go to the surah, and if I want to limit my results to only a particular surah, I can actually unselect all the surahs and select one of them and hit OK. Then I only get the results from that surah very quickly. And this is how we can limit the scope of results we see and search through. If I unselect the filter and reselect it, then I essentially go back to my original full table, and I can actually start a new search, for example. With that being said, I want to show the hiding of columns. And so, for example, I have some columns here that are Boolean that I would like to hide. So I can select these columns with a left mouse click and right click on the top heading and say hide column, and they're gone. And if I want to retrieve them back or unhide them, all I have to do is select the column on the left and right of the hidden columns. And you know that through the sequential letter labels on the column heading, and you right click and you say unhide, and you get back the hidden results. And so you can do that for multiple areas of the table. Sometimes if we forget where did we hide the information or the columns, all you have to do is select the whole table columns by just left clicking on the heading, and you can always shift click to select more or add more. Select all of them and then right click on the heading and say unhide, and all the hidden columns within that scope of selected cells or columns will be unhidden. Okay. There is one more property of Excel that is extremely useful for our purpose of research, numeric research in the Quran, and that is the ability to add a calculation. Excel is rich with equations and the ability to create a mathematical relationship is very easy. So you right click on a column and you say insert to get a new column like this. Suppose that I want to create a calculation here. So I put the equal sign and I select, I want this column value and cell value to be equal to the word position in the surah start plus the word position in the ayah start. For example, then I hit enter, and then this column is completely populated with all its 77,444 cells with that calculation. It's that easy. And it is, and you have, if you click on any cell, you will have the equation right there. You can always edit the equation. So for example, if I want to change the add to a multiply, I multiply, and the calculation is completely changed. It's very quick, very easy. I can do something else similar, and people always in the Quran like to search for prime numbers, for example, or its multiples. And so I can insert a column. Let's say I go to number of letters, and I want to see if any surah number of letters are a multiple of the prime number 19, which is a characteristic prime number of the Quran. So we can say equal to this value and divide by 19. Oops, I did something wrong. I have to, my keyboard is in Arabic, so I have to switch it to English. Sorry. Divide by 19. There we go. And all the calculations are made. And is there any that are divisible by 19 perfectly? Aha, here is one. And this is it. So this happens to be Surat. Which surah? Yusuf. Has a number of letters divisible or a multiple of the prime number 19. Anyone, any other one? No, it looks like this Yusuf is the only surah with a number of letters in first script that are divisible by 19, which is a very special attribute. Okay, I can also do just as another example, something one more time, equal ayah number of letters divisible by 19. And here it is. This is the first ayah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, is divisible by 19, same as this ayah. And you can search throughout for, there are probably a lot more occurrences of ayahs that are divisible by 19, like this one. It's divisible, it's a multiple of 19 times 4, or it's you can find, you can search and find through the results. You can scroll quickly, or you can kind of, here's another one. So you can, there are many ways you can search. There's another one. This is 19 times 3. So that's how you do it. Okay. One more note on the columns. If I add another column here that is empty, you can use the Excel functions, which is by going to the after you put the equal sign, you can say equal, and you go to FX right here, and you insert a mathematical function. That mathematical function can be a math and trig type function. Excel is very rich in equations. It could be a statistical function like the average, mean, median, max, min, and many of the distribution type mathematical equations. You can actually insert an engineering type equation, etc. And so there are many mathematical functions you can do. And okay, and then you can actually so that's very rich, a kind of feature of Excel. And I think that's pretty much it for this video content. I will post another video on the describing the table informational contents. Thank you very much for watching and following us.